Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. So this is part 2 of the heavy guns, looking at their hipfire capabilities. Again, we're just using static targets, mostly static movement on our end, just to see what they're capable of. If you happen to miss part 1, it's in the top right corner. Here we go. I like getting better with the wingman. Of course, this is the gun that all the pros use because of how damage dealing it is, which is awesome. I mean, like 45 or 97 damage a round is pretty significant. Taking nice slow fire hip firing out here, it's actually pretty accurate. I made most of those shots. You'll see that I don't have the gold mag. Sorry, I must have dropped it or whatever, but you can see that the accuracy is actually pretty good. Speeding up though, that's when you start to lose that accuracy. That's where tempo with the guns, not just the perk, the hop up, but actual your trigger speed on it and knowing your distances is important. That's why I want to put this video out here for you guys, so you can kind of measure your own skill and are you going too fast, too slow, or you letting the adrenaline of the fight get to you. And one thing that I've seen and seems to work for me and some of my friends that I play with is this little jump movement here. It's like I'm not moving my mouse, I'm just moving my body, right? And whenever I do that and when it hits the edge, when the sight hits the edge of the person, you start swinging back the other way. It seems to be a little bit more accurate with the wingman. I don't know why that is. It just seems to be the case. And if you watch other, main streamers of Apex, you'll see that they do a similar motion with the wingman. There's only a few that can use it like a normal gun and be perfectly smooth and land all their shots. So from back here, I would say ADS is still the way to go because you can do that little jump movement and the accuracy is really there. Well, the gun appears to be pretty inherently accurate if you tempo it out with hip firing. I think just practically you're gonna have to rely on that sight acquisition to really get those shots down. A little bit closer, hip fire gets a little better because you'll notice the speed of my shots is about this, the faster speed that I was using back there, but my ability to hit each of those shots is a little bit higher. It's got the better accuracy from back there, but the speed from up here kind of thing, so not very surprising. You could also do those little jump shots right here. I think that if I was better at them, I might do those. Maybe I'll practice that more, but that's definitely another technique. But that's user, not gun capability, so we'll kind of skip that for now. Again, hip shooting. I think this is a good range where you can just hip shoot. I'm shooting the gun as fast as I can right here, and it's mostly making hits. Not surprisingly, if you move up to here, your hip firing accuracy becomes better. Your tempo is, of course, shooting as fast as the gun will allow you, and you're still making most of your shots. One thing that I like about the Hemlock is its versatility. I mean, back here, whenever you got your burst fire going, it's not all that incredibly impressive. I mean, every hit that you do is 20, and so the damage is pretty nice. So if you get 2 of those, it starts paying off. Obviously, ADS is the preferred method at this distance. You can really put quite a bit of damage onto your opponent from there. And you know what? Before we go hip firing here, let's back up for just a second and talk about single fire. This is the versatility that I love about this gun, is if you're able to get some quick shots off, got good mouse control or trigger control on your console controller, then it's a good way to go. Hip firing, you're not, it's kind of, I mean, it's okay. A lot of guns, they do 50 to 100. That one, if you land enough rounds with the gold mag, then you're doing that 150 damage, which is great. But I think that there's probably maybe some better options if you had the choices. Burst fire coming up here, hip firing. This is where you're landing 2 or 3 of those shots pretty regularly. Those, you can see that it's maybe like a 50-50, but you're pretty good there. I mean, I guess it just depends if they're in cover. You could take it or leave it with the hip fire at that distance. But once you get here, I think this is where that burst fire is really important. You can obviously hit your opponent very easily. Even with movement, it's very easy to hit. And so I think the gun's capability is well suited for hip firing at that distance there, that mid-range distance. Of course, ADS, I mean, that just, you know, your headshots, they're taking cover or something. Again, just like that flatline, very good weapon overall. Heavy hitting. I do like the heavy guns in general for that reason. Taking a look at the flatline here, pretty interesting gun. I mean, overall, it's a pretty good one. I think there's a reason that they moved it into the crafter. Of course, you know, looking at your ADS, easy with the gold mag to be able to down a target with 200 HP. Hip firing, not quite as easy to get that kind of damage on them, but you still can get a fair number. I mean, you're looking at about 100. I mean, it looks like about 90 each time there from that far out. Just moving up just a little bit here though. Your hip firing doesn't really increase too much. I mean, so we're getting like roughly 90 before. Now we're looking at about, you know, 110 or something. I mean, of course, ADS, you can make those headshots pretty easily. That was just really to reset the dummy though. But yeah, it looks like about another 110, 120 damage there, hip firing. So just the capability of the gun is pretty good. It's there that it should be able to be used pretty easily. I think at this distance, ADS might be still a pretty beneficial thing, but I don't know. Hip firing is not out of the question. You can see once you move up to this distance that, you know, going hip fire only really becomes beneficial. You can hit most of your shots. And again, I mean, just standing still and everything, it seems pretty effective. I've noticed in my games, even with movement, especially like arenas where you can just grab the flatline whenever, the movement actually almost helps it, it seems. I don't know, it just is a really easy gun to hip fire at these closer distances. Of course, ADS, you can land some headshots if they're like trying to take some cover or something. Thank you for making it this far in the video. Again, if you missed the other half of the heavy weapons and seen an analysis like this, then go ahead and click the button. It should be in the corner here. Also, my buddy and I decided to play a little game after learning about the weapons and kind of testing our abilities, so I'm going to just post that just for fun. If you want to see it, feel free to click that as well, and we'll see you next time.